Right now at noon, a third person has been arrested in connection with the shooting at the Madison strip club Visions that injured 4 people. Plus, the president is back from his surprise trip to Iraq. What he's saying about the government shutdown. And just over 4 hours until kickoff as the Badgers battle the Miami Hurricanes in the Pinstripe Bowl.
This is News 3 at noon.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Mark Kane. Thanks for tuning in to News 3 on this rainy Thursday. Chris Reese is here. Boy, I'll tell you, for the end of December, this is unusual.
I know. You say Miami Hurricanes.
We've got it here.
Wisconsin Hurricanes. That's what it seems like. We've had the rain coming down all morning, Mark, and it has been a torrential rain at times, starting to let up downtown. But just moments ago, even this was a downpour out there. The temperature's still 39 degrees. I had hope that we would be in the mid-40s at this point, but with that rain coming down as hard as it has, it's kept the air just a little bit colder out there. But the warmth is on the way already. 42 in Boscobel right now, 41 in Dubuque, Iowa. 30s off to the north, but that warmer air coming in from the south. In fact, that round of rain that was pretty intense that just moved through was actually the leading edge of the warm front that's finally working its way on into the picture. But even still, you've got a lot of snow back to the north and west. That's where blizzard conditions are ongoing right now, and they'll even be intensifying some into the afternoon and evening. So still winter weather advisories all the way through the Omaha, Nebraska metro, blizzard warnings through parts of central Nebraska, along with eastern, south, and North Dakota, western Minnesota. So if you're traveling that direction, do be prepared for quite a weather event. For us, we're going to have that rain around starting to become more intermittent into the afternoon. As we head into your Friday, though, that's when we'll watch a round of light snow move into the picture. So a little bit of everything on the table. Of course, today it was the rain, the wind, and the thunder. Tomorrow, a little bit of a different story. But we've got just about everything in your forecast other than 80s and 90s at this point.
A powerful storm, though.
This is a very powerful storm impacting a large part of the country. Severe weather down south in Texas, flooding in Houston this morning. I've been checking in on my family there. They've just told me what all's going on. They're all fine.
All right.
All fine.
That's good news. All right. We'll check back in a few minutes. Thank you, Chris. Topping the news today, the mother of a 15-year-old Reedsburg boy who died during a 40-day fast in September has pleaded guilty. Tidaleo Omosebi pleaded guilty to felony child neglect causing death today in Dane County Court. Kehinde Omosebi reported his son's death in September. Police found the boy extremely emaciated and dead, as well as an 11-year-old in similar condition but still alive. Tidaleo was responsive but also emaciated. She refused medical treatment because of religious reasons. She's scheduled to be sentenced in April. A third person has been arrested in connection with the shooting at a Madison strip club that injured 4 people. Madison police say 42-year-old Deshaun Robert from Milwaukee was booked into the Dane County Jail yesterday on tentative charges of first-degree reckless injury and possession with intent to sell heroin. Robert, along with Spencer Jackson and Cole Foster, are involved in the shooting that happened earlier this month. Police say Robert has been receiving treatment for injuries he sustained in that shooting. A Janesville woman was arrested after police found a man early this morning with a steak knife sticking out of his face. Janesville police responded around 2:35 to Mole Avenue for a report of a man who had a knife sticking out of his head. Police say 46-year-old Maria Johnson directed officers to the man. Johnson and the victim both said Maria caused the knife to be stuck in the man's face, but both said it was an accident. The man was taken to the hospital where the knife was removed. Johnson was arrested on a tentative charge of second-degree reckless injury, domestic violence. Grant County deputies investigating after 2 people were injured in a head-on crash. Emergency crews were called around 9:05 Tuesday morning to a 2-vehicle crash on Highway 18 at County Road C in Wyalusing Township. Deputies say 19-year-old Autumn Starrett of Prairie du Chien was driving east in her car when she crossed the center line and hit another car being driven by a 55-year-old man. The head-on crash caused both vehicles to go into the ditch. Starrett, who had to be extricated, both drivers were taken to the hospital with unknown injuries. Police in Central California are searching for a gunman who killed a local police officer. 33-year-old Ranil Singh was shot early Wednesday morning during a traffic stop in Newman. That's about 100 miles southeast of San Francisco. Now investigators are asking for the public's help in identifying the suspect captured in surveillance video shortly before Singh was shot. Singh was a canine officer specializing in narcotics detention. He leaves behind a wife and a 5-month-old son. Well, President Trump is back at the White House following his surprise trip to visit U.S. troops in Iraq and Germany. The president returns to the partial government shutdown, which is now in its 6th day. Mola Lenghi reports from the White House.
President Trump and First Lady Melania Trump returned to the White House before dawn Thursday from their unannounced trip to Iraq. The president received a warm welcome from troops at Al Assad Air Base west of Baghdad. The commander-in-chief took selfies, signed hats, and defended his controversial decision to withdraw U.S. troops from Syria, saying it's up to other nations to step up.
If they want us to do the fighting, they also have to pay a price. And sometimes that's also a monetary price. So we're not the suckers of the world. We're no longer the suckers, folks.
This was the president's first trip to see U.S. military personnel in a combat zone. He had been criticized for not visiting sooner. President Trump also stopped in to say hello to U.S. troops in Germany on his way home. Now that the president is back here in Washington, he's focusing on the ongoing government shutdown. Thursday morning, he called on Democrats to fund his border wall and end the standoff. The president tweeted, "Do the Dems realize that most of the people not getting paid are Democrats?" In Iraq, President Trump indicated he is not backing down.
How long do you think the shutdown will last, Mr. President?
Whatever it takes. I mean, we're going to have a wall. We're going to have safety.
The House and Senate are back in session Thursday afternoon, but many members are still on vacation and will return only if they're needed for a vote. And that isn't expected to happen until the president and Democrats reach a deal. Mola Lenghi, CBS News, the White House.
And since the shutdown began, about 420,000 people have been working without pay. Another 380,000 have been furloughed. Rescue efforts are continuing in Indonesia after a tsunami hit the area on Friday. The 16-foot ocean wave killed at least 430 people on the islands of Java and Sumatra. People along the coastline are now being told to stay inland due to fears of another tsunami, and now air travelers also are on alert. Police and rescue crews are still combing remote areas, helping to evacuate stranded residents. The rescue efforts are being slowed down by bad weather and torrential rain. The disaster agency estimates more than 20,000 people are now in shelters. After years of planning and 10 months of construction, Fire Station 14 in Madison is now open. Fire officials say they'll now be able to respond to calls in this part of the city in 5 minutes or less. That is a big improvement over the 10 to 15 minutes it took before today. While their request to add an ambulance to the station was denied in the 2019 budget, Assistant Chief Clay Christensen says the fire rigs do have EMS capabilities, and the Common Council did approve adding a paramedic on staff 24/7. This is now the largest fire station in the city, in part because it'll also double as a training facility for both new recruits and current firefighters. And we are just 4 hours away until Wisconsin and Miami face off in the Pinstripe Bowl. Today's game is a rematch of the Orange Bowl from last year, where Wisconsin won 34-24. Wisconsin's Jack Cohen will get the start under center for the Badgers, while Miami's Malik Rozier will be the starting quarterback for the Hurricanes. The Badgers are making their 17th straight bowl appearance and are looking for their 5th straight bowl victory. The game starts at 4:15. You can see it over on ESPN. We'll have highlights of the game in our later newscast. And there's more to come on News 3 at noon. I'm next. We'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Compliments are great, but if you really want to flatter someone who just made a delicious meal, ask them for the recipe. When someone cooks you something special, there's no better way to show them how much you loved it than by asking them to share the recipe. And that's why when I tried my friend Chef Tony's cheese-filled rice balls, I knew I had to ask. He told me that these were an old family recipe and that he would be honored to share it with me and asked me to share it with you. After cooking some arborio rice and chicken broth, he told me that he adds a few eggs that he beats together with some Parmesan cheese, chopped parsley, and a few spices. Then he pops it in the fridge to let it chill. Once it's cold, we roll it into balls and stuff a chunk of mozzarella cheese in the center of each ball. After that, they get rolled in breadcrumbs and fried. That's all there is to it. It's easy to see why these have been a family favorite for so many generations. You'll understand once you take your first bite and the mozzarella just oozes out. To get Chef Tony's recipe for cheesy rice balls, as well as to find out where you can get his latest cookbook, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found Chef Tony's traditional way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
All right, Howard, there's more to come on News 3 at noon. Up next, a rainy December day. Could the rain turn into snow? Meteorologist Chris Reese will let us know when we come back. Right, Shotzi. Well, the minimum wage is going up in one state, and some good news if you're trying to travel in the new year. Wendy Gillette has more in today's Money Watch report.
The markets tanked at the opening bell after a record-breaking day for the Dow yesterday. It was up 1,086 points, its biggest single-day point gain in history. The government shutdown will also shut down some information about the economy. The Labor Department will continue to report data such as weekly jobless claims, but information about new home sales and the trade balance won't be reported during the shutdown. It's unclear what will happen if it ends up lasting a long time. The new year brings some good Good news for workers in New York State, a higher minimum wage. The highest wage will be paid here in New York City. Fast food workers and other low-paid employees will see their minimum hourly wage go up to $15 an hour. Business owners say the higher labor expense could cost jobs. And if your New Year's resolution is to travel more, January is the cheapest month to buy plane tickets. That's according to discount travel app Skyscanner. Flights to major cities within the U.S. are predicted to be 20% cheaper next month. Flights to San Antonio are the most discounted, followed by trips to Miami and Tampa. That's your CBS Money Watch report. For more, head to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the New York Stock Exchange, I'm Wendy Gillette.
Wendy, thank you. The Dow Industrials down 323 points at the noon hour. The NASDAQ down 134. Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee out of the radio barn this week, so here are your farm numbers.
We've been tracking that heavy rain through the area all morning long. Finally, we're starting to see a little bit of a change as some of that works its way to our north. So this heavy band of rain now north of the Dells, impacting places like Sheboygan, over onto Pond du Lac, Camp Douglas, Black River Falls, over towards La Crosse. They're getting in on some of the heaviest rainfall as of now. In Madison, take a breath. We are finally going to get a break from the action, at least temporarily, before more of that moves in from the south and west over time. We actually just had a nice little band move on through. That's what's to the north now. The snow up north has also transitioned over to rain as warm air really begins to take over what is falling out of the sky. We zoom things out and you see the warmer air coming in from the south. 43 in Rockford right now versus 39 for us here in Madison. Over in Des Moines, they're already at 48 degrees, and they're going to continue to see these temperatures warm up as we go into the afternoon and evening with the cold air out to the north and west. But this is how it looks outside. It's looked that way just about all day. The temperature just jumped from 39 to 40. So finally, we have seen those temperatures make it into the 40s. We'll continue with those winds out of the southeast, sustained at 14 miles per hour. Earlier, they were sustained at 20. You still have some places with sustained winds at 20. Right along the lakeshore, Kenosha has sustained winds at 25 miles per hour. But when it comes to the wind gusts, over the past 24 hours, we have seen some gusts upwards of 31 miles per hour here in Madison. Dubuque, Iowa, and Decorah, Iowa saw wind gusts closer to 40 miles per hour. And these are only the sites that are reporting the wind gusts. Some of those places in between could have seen them be much higher. But the reality is we have a pretty large storm system across the country. And this really is a powerhouse of a storm that brought flooding to Texas, now severe storms through parts of Mississippi and Louisiana. And of course, it is the snow across the northern Midwest that is beginning to actually ramp up for a lot of places across parts of central Minnesota there, back through eastern South Dakota and eastern North Dakota as well. In those areas, we will find winter storm warnings along with blizzard warnings. Winter weather advisories go all the way through the Omaha, Nebraska metro. We are free of that here in Madison. The reason for that, we're on the warm side of the storm system. Winds are going to be continuing out of the south and east. Here's what you'll notice at midnight, though. The winds will actually begin to relax later on into the afternoon and evening. That's the low passing right on top of us. But as soon as it does, we're on the cold side of that low. Cold air is going to stream in. Any lingering moisture will actually turn to snow, and I think we're going to see that happen into tomorrow. We'll see spotty showers around today. Temperatures still in the 40s. Here we are into Friday. Early Friday morning, temperatures will actually be in the 40s. It'll be warmer when you wake up than when you head home in the afternoon and evening. Here comes that snow coming into the afternoon, and it'll be a widespread area of snow shower activity. I don't think it will accumulate to much. It's possible to see ½ inch to an inch in some spots, but really, with the ground temperatures above freezing, we should be free of a lot of accumulation. Nonetheless, we're going to see those snowflakes flying, temperatures falling all the way into the low 20s, staying in the 20s for Saturday, but we do see sunshine for the weekend, which is a welcome change around here. New Year's Eve into New Year's Day, we do have to keep a close eye on that one. Right now, we have a chance for flurries, but all but 2 of the model runs over the past several hours this morning are trying to trend towards a stronger system that might actually bring some snow to us around here. So we're going to watch that one closely just to see how that develops. Otherwise, right now, our first chance of snow of 2019 coming on Thursday, if the New Year's Eve system stays a little weaker. But we're going to watch that one closely.
So travel problems north and then east tomorrow.
East tomorrow. So yeah, but for the most part, I do think here the travel problems won't be as bad as they will be if you're traveling to the north and west.
Just wet. All right. Thank you, Chris. Up next, a Wisconsin veteran is going viral for his dancing moves. We'll have his story when we come back. Well, a World War II veteran from Waukesha is once again dancing his way through the holidays. 2 years ago, Chuck Franzi went viral for a video of him bopping along to Christmas music. Well, he's at it again. David Schumann has more.
Since we've no place to go. Chuck Fransky, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to his 3rd annual holiday dancing video. The first one did pretty well. Here's Chuck on Fox News.
It is hard for me to tell you how much I love this guy.
Well, he always was a pretty good dancer.
I like being liked, so that's why I try to be nice to everybody.
Chuck was a Navy bomber pilot in World War II.
I was a pilot and the navigator. I sat up here.
He flew dozens of missions, and his home is filled with artifacts from that time, including his wedding photo. Chuck and Beverly have been dancing together since they were 21.
And we were a big band fan. I used to jitterbug when I was young. I can't jitterbug today, my balance isn't good. But I just like music, and I like her too.
Nowadays, Chuck stays involved with the Stars and Stripes Honor Flight, an organization that flies veterans to Washington, D.C. to visit the war memorials. And of course, being internet famous, he has to fight off the occasional troll.
One of the Facebooks one day I saw one dislike, and I wonder what in the heck did I do that somebody didn't like? And I would like to know what it was.
Shake it off, Chuck. You're a star.
And I brought some corn for popping. Lights are turned down low.
All right, Chuck, dancing away.
I know, that's some nice moves right there.
Dancing in the rain out here.
You could dance in the rain. We've had a lot of that. We're going to continue to see more rain through the afternoon and evening. Temperatures falling throughout Friday with rain over to snow.
All right, we'll see you back here at 4. Thanks for watching.